Okay, YouTube. So a lot of y'all might be a little bit confused, like, okay, what is this doing? This is different. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. So I wanted to show y'all how I edit my pictures. Recently, I've gotten into editing a lot more than I was before. Like, I wasn't really editing, but I've been editing now. So I wanted to show y'all kind of how I like to edit. So first I'm going to give y'all an example of a picture that's edited already, in case y'all don't follow me on Instagram for whatever reason. So this is a picture that's been edited already. What I did was I added highlights. I gave myself some shadows around here, around there. I blurred the background a little bit. And I also made the background slightly darker than me to make me pop more. So that's an example of an edited picture to give y'all an idea of what we're going for. And I think I might edit one of these. I don't know, because these might be a little rough to edit. So this one's gonna be a little rougher to edit. The reason being, I took this before I really got into my photography bag, but we're gonna try it anyway. So this is what we start off doing: duplicate layer. I'm gonna try to move slowly. So we just went to layer, we duplicated the layer, right? And then I'm going to try to select myself and the food. So object selection tool is A1 for this because you don't really have to put forth much effort to select. It kind of just does all the groundwork for you. So you don't have to get it out the mud or nothing. It kind of just selects things for you, which is great because having to select stuff yourself is kind of ghetto, not gonna lie. Just because it's a very time-consuming process if you would have to do all of this yourself. So thank God for that. Object selection tool definitely be coming in handy. I try to get these little nooks and crannies. Like now I'm trying to do it. Before I was kind of lazy, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but the end result, it definitely makes a difference. At least to me, like I noticed a difference. So I like to make sure I get these taken out just because I don't want them to show once I'm done blurring everything out. Sometimes you have little stubborn moments like this where it's like that one little piece just doesn't want to subtract for some reason. It happens for whatever reason. I cannot figure out why it does that for the life of me. But sometimes you just run into that issue and you kind of just have to keep trying until it eventually, goes away like that. It'll happen eventually. There we go. Okay. So we're going to zoom back out. And I'm just going to look and see if this is doing what needs to be done here. Okay, so I want all of this in the middle cut out. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing pretty much. Object selection and just get all of this separated so that it's not included in the selection because I want that part to be blurred out. Then I want this part of my hand to be included, so I'm going to add that. Then we're going to go back to subtracting. Even though it still can be a little bit tedious, the process is still so much easier with the object selection tool. Why it is not playtime. I'm not playing with you right now. Okay. I adopted a kitten, y'all. That's what I'm talking to. Y'all might sometimes hear him meowing or jingling in the background because he has a little bell on his collar. It's him in the background doing parkour, child. Anyways, right now I'm just trying to refine the selection so that it actually has all the parts that I want it to have. This can take a little bit of time, but I would say it's definitely worth it. The amount of time it takes isn't too crazy either. Okay, so this edit is not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, because I'm probably not gonna post this edit anyways. So I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what I do here when I'm editing. So then I go to layer, and then we're gonna do layer mask, and then reveal selection. So that basically just cuts out everything I just selected. It's still there, kind of. Like, see? We still have this background layer behind it. So then what I do is I go to filter and then blur, and then do I don't know how to pronounce this, but we do this kind of blur, right? And I was saying I get picky about it because, like, you see how some of the hair is blurred, some of this hair is not. Like, I have a picture on Instagram right now that I'm debating about deleting because it's blonde too, so it's more noticeable. Some of the hair got blurred during selection, and then some of it did not. So I'm debating whether or not I'm going to delete that picture. It's so cute other than that, though. But I'm a perfectionist. So this is what we got here. I added the blur. Everything around me is blurry. Another thing I like to do is I go to image adjustments. And I actually got a lot of this from Edits by Kia. Like, a lot of the things I do, I learned from her. So shout out to her. She has been very, very helpful throughout this process of me trying to learn how to edit my pictures on my own. So, as you can see here, this is what we're left with. So now I'm doing highlights. I love doing highlights, y'all. I love it. I don't know why. I just do. That's like my favorite part of editing. If y'all haven't noticed by my pictures are very heavy on the highlights. Another thing that y'all want to make sure y'all doing that I was not doing at first because I had completely forgot about this. Whenever you're doing a layer, it's important to drag that layer to the top so you can actually see it. If I were to, let me show y'all. I'm going to show y'all an example of exactly what I mean. So we got this, right? I'm going to make this bigger, because I like to kind of do it all in one swipe type thing. Okay, so y'all see how that literally did nothing, but when you actually bring it to the top, also guys are not gonna see it as much here because the opacity is on like 19%, because I didn't want this to be too bright here. But you can actually see the difference now as compared to before, where it was underneath this layer so you couldn't see anything. Another thing that I got from Kia that's been a super heavy game changer for me, that I don't know how I never thought to do this. Adding to your eyes makes such a big difference, y'all. Like, if you just go in and you add highlights to your eyes, it makes your Avi come to life. Like, I don't know how I never thought about doing this before. But shout out to sis for enlightening me, because when she put that on to me, that's a game changer. I've been obsessed with it ever since. Okay, so when I zoom out, y'all will be able to tell the difference. Like, do you see it? It just makes my Avi look so much more alive. Like, I love that so much. So we're gonna zoom back in. I just wanted to show y'all the difference, because I'm gonna hit a couple more of these highlights in here. I would say if I'm really inspired and I have a vision of what I'm doing, it might take me about maybe 30 to 45 minutes to do an edit, depending. I've gotten a little bit softer with my highlights. I love a highlight. Like I said, I was obsessed. I still am obsessed, but I've gotten a little bit better with it because I used to be heavy on it. I still am, but I'm not as heavy. And it honestly depends on the picture. Like this one, I feel like I can be a little bit heavier on the highlight just because the lighting in this picture is bright. So it would make sense to have more highlights in this picture. If it's a situation where you have a picture that's a little bit on the darker side, like the lighting is dark and everything, you have a darker background, then it wouldn't be warranted to have a lot of highlight. A lot of this is just playing with lighting and trial and error, honestly. I have gotten pretty decent with it. I wouldn't say I'm perfect or anything, but I've gotten pretty decent just because, like, during the day, I just take pictures nonstop and I just edit them. Like, I mean, of course, I know not everyone is able to do that. I am fortunate enough that I have the time where I can do it. But whenever you guys do have the time, if you really want to get into editing, I would suggest just like editing, just take pictures and edit them. Like, take pictures specifically to edit them. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would suggest for y'all. I also love, for me, so this is a tip. This unfortunately isn't gonna work for everybody. So a lot of these things, keep in mind, guys, I had to learn that sometimes things just aren't gonna work for you the way they work for other people, unfortunately. The reason being is because people's avies are different, people's skin tones are different, people's undertones are different. So some things that may work for me are not gonna work for you guys, unfortunately. Like, for example, I have realized that when it comes to my black dragon lighting, I tried to copy my friend's black dragon lighting. My friend's Abby is much, much, much darker than mine. So she has a dark skin Abby, and the wind light was great on her. It was so cute on her. But on me, it made me look washed out. I was a light bulb with that wind light. So I had to completely edit my wind light from scratch. Just because it just didn't work for me, because our avies are different, our undertones are different, our skin tones are different. It just wasn't working. I was looking like a light bulb. So I had to fix that. So now that I fixed it, it doesn't, like, it's not as noticeable anymore. I think what I'm going to do is, because I want this picture to be a little bit darker, because, you know, it's in a restaurant. I want to kind of give it a mood, if you get what I'm saying. This time I might actually go into camera raw filter, though, instead of doing curves. So I like to turn up the blacks and then kind of turn up. See, there we go. It creates kind of like an ambiance type of deal. Boom. I love that. I love that. So I would say when it comes to curves, sometimes curves can get a little bit weird. Nothing wrong with using curves to adjust it. I always go in with the curves first. But then afterwards, sometimes I just end up doing camera raw filter, and it makes a huge difference, as you can see here. I think I might also go into camera raw filter for the cutout portion. It sucks because right here you can't really see anything, but boom. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, sometimes I don't even really do shadows. It really depends on my mood. Like in this type of picture, I don't really need much shadows. If I wanted to do shadows, the shadows will mainly be like right here on my hair. Of course, right in between here. But I feel like the skin I have does a pretty good job at highlighting that. So I don't really go crazy on shadows. So, yeah, I feel like there isn't really a lot of space here for shadows. Maybe right here, and oh, you know, on where the fork is. That's about it. Basically, if you were to do shadows, you would just go in right here where this fork is at, where the hair is at, and where the boobs are if you wanted to create realistic shadows. That's helped with me, because basically I like to do it where it would naturally be already. Like, I like to create shadows where a shadow would naturally be at already. And sometimes, depending on the skin, the lighting and everything, and how you have your sun position set up on Black Dragon, you might not even need to make shadows. But for the sake of the video, I want to show y'all how I do this. I didn't even realize I edit this quick because we're about 15 minutes into the video. I could have sworn it'd take me about 45 minutes to edit the picture. And this picture is basically done. Like, basically done. I'm going to add a few shadows in. That's not going to take a long time. And yeah. Yep. Basically done. So one trick I found that I also got from Kia that really works is when she's doing shadows. Oh, I forgot. So because there's nothing on this layer, it's not going to be able to select anything. So I have to go to this layer right here because this is the layer my hand is on. So one thing she did, I kind of made a change to it because that worked a little better for me. What she would do is she would kind of just take this and she would draw inside of it to do shadows. I like to do the opposite. I like to draw outside of the selection. So I'm going to show y'all what I mean in just a second. So one way you can draw outside of a selection, that's probably the easiest way. I'm sure there's likely other ways to do this, but I find that the easiest way to do this would be to go to select inverse. So what that does is that selects everything around this. So nothing inside this little selection will be touched. It'll only be outside of it, which is great for shadows because you don't want the shadow to be inside, you want it to be outside. So we are going to go in like this. I'm also going to zoom in. Okay, boom. So don't really need shadows here. I'm going to start drawing my shadow. Notice this is a very subtle shadow. Very subtle. It only really starts to get more defined once we get around this fork, which is to be expected because the plate is white. So my dress is more so on the black side, so it's going to show a little bit more. Now, once again, this shadow isn't perfect. I wasn't trying to make it perfect. I have no intentions of posting this picture, but I kind of just want to show you guys what I do. So you see it's a nice little shadow. What you would do is you would literally just take your eraser and you kind of set your opacity to, it really depends. I turn my opacity up and down throughout the editing process. Whether it is editing like editing with a brush, like I'm drawing in highlights, or whether I'm erasing, I always put some type of opacity there. And then this is what you do. You pretty much just erase until it's perfect or to your liking. Like until you're satisfied with it, basically. And I was just making the brush a little bit bigger because that was going to take a minute. Like I was saying, mind you, this is not perfect at all. I had no intentions of making it perfect. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes only. Just to give you guys an idea of how to kind of get started with this. So notice how you can see the shadow now. Once again, this is not a perfect shadow. This is pretty much just for you guys to get the gist of what I'm doing, because I would have also added shadows to the little tongs of the fork, I think it's called. So I would have had to go in and select those individually most likely, which is fine. And I probably would have added a shadow to my hair, but it really depends, guys. Honestly, when it comes to playing with shadows, it depends on what you want and what you're going for, because I wouldn't even necessarily have to put a shadow there, because a shadow will realistically only be coming off of my hair if my hair wasn't touching my face. Which, I mean, you could say that my hair is touching my face in this picture. Like, it's not unrealistic to believe that my hair would be touching my face. So, I mean, when it comes to that, if you want, I feel like it just depends on what you guys want. Like, editing is really about what you want in your style and what you're trying, like what look you're going for. If you like it to be super detailed, you want the highlights, you want the shadows, you want, you know, a little bit of everything going on, then yes, you definitely want to be thorough with that. When it comes to me, y'all, I don't be caring. Like, it's not that I don't be caring. I'm a perfectionist as far as like if I do shadows, I want the shadows to be perfect. If I do highlights, I want the highlights to be perfect. I mean, of course, I'm still new to it, so it's not always going to be perfect, but I'm aiming for perfection with it. But when it comes to deciding where to put shadows or where to put highlights, if it needs shadows, if it needs highlights, I'm not really perfectionist with that. I kind of just do what I feel in the moment. Like my face is always gonna be highlighted to death, though. Y'all know this. My face, my fingers, and like my boob area is always gonna be highlighted. Anything else is kind of like secondary to me. Like I kind of do like a spur of the moment type of thing with that. So y'all let me know in the comments section if y'all like this video and if y'all want me to do more videos like this. I'm going to be bringing y'all a My Story video soon. I've been sitting on this My Story video for the longest, and then I saw someone else do it and it made me want to do it even more. Y'all, I'm just broke at the moment. Like, I literally have 0 linens, so there's no way that I can really do a My Story video for y'all. My Story isn't expensive, but what I want to do, I'm going to have to like spend some lindens. Nothing crazy, maybe like 500 lindens. So in other ways, not in other ways, in other news, y'all, I'm going to be giving y'all some more videos real soon. And I hope y'all like this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all don't be shy about commenting because my comment section is always so dry. Like, what is up with this? I have no clue. Like, y'all like my videos and I'm so thankful for that. But I want to interact with y'all. Like, leave a comment or something. So y'all don't be shy about leaving comments. More baddie bunches coming soon. Baddie bunch is just a little bit in shambles right now. The baddie bunch is outside right now. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The baddie bunch is outside. Cass has been getting into more blogger projects and whatnot. So have I. Ash has been working her tail off in real life. Elise is pretty much doing her usual. She works in real life. She has her relationship that is both SL and real life. So, she's been focusing a lot on blogging as well. And she also works. So we kind of all been a little bit discombobulated right now. And me and Belle are online often together. But we be up at the crack of dawn and nobody else be awake. And I feel like if I'm going to do a baddie bunch episode, there at least 3 out of 5 of us need to be there. So that's what's been holding that up. As far as that 3rd episode is concerned, y'all, I don't know where that episode is at. I have no clue. It seems to have dropped off of the face of the earth. So we're going to have to refilm episode 3. I do know for a fact that the next episode... Oh, I just had a hiccup. The next episode of Baddie Bunch is going to be about balancing real life and SL. And it definitely feels very appropriate, given that the reason why we haven't been recording is because we've been doing exactly that. So, yes, stay tuned for more Baddie Bunch episodes. I have a lot planned for y'all with that. Like, oh my god, I have such a vision in store for Baddie Bunch. And I can't wait for y'all to see that. So stay tuned. Oh my goodness, these hiccups are taking me out. But stay tuned and bye, Yomi Gang.